definitely had one of these rooms here, and one upstairs, as you said, Douglas.
Yeah.
And here's the main entrance where we stood many a times, waiting to see Shri Mataji off. Her car would be here, and we'd all gather here, and the poor caretaker would be there saying, "It's really time. I have to shut the door," and we'd move another inch further forward. The whole pavement would be full of SYogis, new people wondering what was, what the whole big deal was. And then Shri Mataji would be there in her car, and off she'd drive, and then we'd finally reluctantly go off to the spaghetti house for our supper.
If you walk up a little bit to the door, maybe it's good. I'll just follow you along.
Yeah.
That's the way. That's it. It goes, isn't it?
I guess that looks like the original door.
Yeah.
That's the
me.
The
new one, isn't it?
Look how worn this is.
I know, it's just terrible.
It's got old marks on it, but still.
Yeah, it's very old.
It's not what it was.
Not what it was.
It's strange because it always used to be night time here.
Yes, you'd seldom see it in the light.
No, it was always there.
Yeah, and I think
And I can watch your mother get into the car or get out of the car at the front.
It was 30 years ago.
Yes, if you look, it looks like you can see.
Pillars.
Yeah.
And these are new anyway, these.
Yeah.
These are new.
Mm.
It looked cleaner and neater when it was night.
See where that's been.
Yeah.
Wasn't there an awning over here?
Yeah, glass,
Yeah,
like
there's
Victorian
like
glass
big
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
With wrought iron at the top
Yeah,
and
that's
glass
it. Yeah,
roof.
yeah. That's why initially I didn't recognise
Yeah,
it.
no, that's it.
Yeah.
There must be some
Well, there must be.
somewhere.
Yes,
It was a
yeah.
municipal building. It was Westminster
No, but I
City
mean
Council's
of us.
building.
We must have
Yeah.
pictures.
You might find some early pictures on the net. Actually.
Yeah, I would think so.
I'll have a look when I get home. Yeah,
Yeah, there was a fire. There was a couple of fires here.
Well, there
And
was
they've sealed it off, so.
there was a fire whilst we were here, because there's a when you went in, there was the entrance to the main hall, and then there was I think there was a stairway on the left that went up, and then round, and then there was a
balcony
a sort of a like a gangway or balcony along the back,
like a mezzanine.
that led to those rooms up there. And I remember that stairway was burnt. Don't know quite how the thing caught fire, but.
How long did we have meetings here?
Till about 82 or 83.
I don't know until I look at the list.
Look at the tapes. Well, it's when the tapes were. The tape would be such and such at Caxton Hall,
Well,
wouldn't it?
yes.
5, 7 years, something like that.
Well,
just a minute.
I think until at least
Where's this
82.
again? Yeah,
We started in
77.
77. And I'm
77.
sure all through college.
Yes,
so
all
we left
through
college at
college,
80.
yeah.
Well, you left college in 82.
Let me get out of the shop.
82.
Athena was 1981 where they were definitely, because I brought
Yeah.
Athena here.
And
Innocent possibly, so that's 82.
yeah.
Samarth, I'm not
Samarth.
sure, 84, so.
82 or 83, I would think.
Yeah.
So we'll have to check from the list of tapes. And dug
Right, let's have a look. There we are. Look, Caxton Hall. You can see where Caxton Hall started.
Yeah.
That was
October 77.
12th,
77.
4th of the. Oh, wait a minute. What page is that? Page 1. Yeah. Yeah. So that was first public meeting.
Yeah.
The 4th, the 24th of the 11th, right? Now it goes
1977.
77. Yeah. Caxton
reckon
Hall.
83.
Caxton Hall there. Caxton Hall.
80.
That's 80. Caxton Hall. Caxton Hall. Caxton Hall.
What year are you in
Caxton
now?
Hall.
Still at the bottom.
Oh, do you remember that one at Stratford?
Yes,
I do.
Yes, I do it very well.
Because that was where we first met you and Mark, wasn't it?
Yes, that was it. Was that the bottom of our flat?
Was that 84?
Well, 80.
80.
Yes, that was when I was pregnant with Athena.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
right.
used to smother, that's right.
Right, at Caxton Hall there, that's
Yeah.
that's 80.
So we're in 80.
1980.
Bottom there.
Bottom there, 81.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 82.
Come to
82.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, it's got to be 82 because I remember.
Work backwards.
Yeah, you're right, 82.
Bottom.
Do we ever have any
82.
pujas here?
82.
No,
No, never
No?
pujas here.
no, we never did pujas
No.
here. Funny that. just public programmes, talks.
Where did you do the
Caxton Hall.
pujas then? In
So
the
how many
ashram?
people did you sort of get? How many people on average did you get to the?
A few hundred,
Yeah, there'll be
and the Great
hundreds.
Hall
The
held
Great Hall would all 200 or
several
300
hundred,
anyway.
yeah.
I'm sure that
But it
first,
was generally-
that first
First
meeting
meeting.
there was a lot.
about
I'm
200
sure.
at the
Yeah.
very least.
No,
But then after
82.
this first meeting here, we
82 is
always
about the
had
latest.
our
Yeah,
numbers went up
82.
from 6
Oh,
or 7
one
to
minute.
60 or 70, didn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Straight away. But they did change, but
Yes.
the numbers stayed about
Yeah,
the
that was
same
the
for the
last
next
one.
few years. But
Yeah. Oh,
they did
there's a
change.
Caxton
That
Hall
people
there.
would come and
There.
people would go.
83.
83.
83,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was
So,
from
yeah.
77 to 83.
That's a long time.
6
Yeah,
years.
6 years,
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
83, that's good.
I remember we used to do the meetings, didn't we?
Yes.
With the blow the conch at the end and all bow down and leave all these poor new people
Yeah.
standing up like lemons at one stage. But I mean, most of the time we were just.
Well, when we did it, do you remember we went to the flower store and went and bought all those flowers and decorated it just like
Yeah.
we did the
Yeah.
Albert Hall, the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yes, all the microphones and it was incredible. It's boiling.
Righteous.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell that guy down at.
Oh yes.
So here we are in Christchurch Gardens, City of Westminster, and over the road we've got the famous Caxton Hall. This distinctive Victorian red brick building on Caxton Street is Caxton Hall, opened in 19th of July 1883 as Westminster Town Hall. During the next 100 years it served a wide variety of purposes, for example as a venue for concerts and public meetings, including many important meetings of the suffragette movement. During World War II it was also used by the Ministry of Information for press conferences given by Sir Winston Churchill and his ministers. From 1933 to 1977 many thousands of couples were married at Caxton Hall in the Westminster Registry Office. It gained a reputation for hosting many social weddings, and those of the rich and famous, including Sir Anthony Eden, Ingrid Bergman's third marriage, Elizabeth Taylor's marriage to Michael Wilding, Peter Sellers, Roger Moore, Diana Dawes, twice married here, George Harrison and Ringo Starr. And from 1978 up to its closure in 1983, Caxton Hall continued to be used by a wide variety of organisations as a venue for meetings, including of course Sahaja Yoga meetings hosted by Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi, and it is a Grade 2 listed building.
Well, we didn't really know what was going to happen at all. I mean, even when not at all, we were amazed by this sort of speech, because normally we would just public way, yeah. I mean, the first time she did that was in Cambridge, remember? When so it shepherded them all off, protecting them till the last, and then disappeared through the door. You sitting on her lap. You remember? And after, for weeks after, when it was just first started to last, she told us this was.
Mother used to do national tours all the time when CP was off on business, and she went to my hometown, Middlesbrough. She went to Derby, Birmingham, Bristol, Leeds. She went to Leeds a lot. And during the day, when she would stay overnight, she would go shopping. One has been captured on film. Someone filmed the shopping for crockery in Derby, because Derby's near the Wedgwood, where the sort of the potteries is there on the North West Midlands. And Mother's filmed just going around this lovely crockery shop with lots of SYogis just following behind in a wake, just so on the tail of a comet really. And she used to love that, and she would go and when she would speak about the area itself. And my hometown's an industrial town. It was before the Victorian, there was nothing there, and they discovered iron ore in the local hills, and it was effectively built on steel. And it was with Sheffield, Teesside and Sheffield were the two centres of the steel industry in England for a long time. And so Mother came to Middlesbrough and gave us a talk in the college, the Polytechnic there. Oh, right, okay. And she would drive around and ask about the locale where she was going to speak. And I drove her around and across the Transporter Bridge, across the River Tees, which is a really lovely bridge.
Shut.
Oh, really?
You still got the mark on there.
Oh, never mind.
Just stop to go back in.
And I drove Mother across the Transporter Bridge, which is quite a famous bridge across the River Tees. And she asked me what the town was. I said it was built on steel. And we just had our third child, our second son. And she was staying in my friend's flat. And we didn't have a name for him. He was only a few weeks old. I said, Mother, can you name him? She says, what's this town built on? So I was built on steel, Mother. She says, oh, we'll call him Samarth, which is the man who's equal to his own name. And we'll call him Samson as well. So he's called Samarth Samson. It was beautiful. And he was named in a steel town, so he's like a man of steel. It's beautiful.
So I think that was the spaghetti house.
That was a tavola calda, which is the hot table, which is after the Caxton Hall meetings, most times we would all decant to the tavola calda, and there'd be 20, 30, 40 of us in there, and occasionally Mother would come and sit upstairs in the in the corner table upstairs, but it's shut now. And it was not a particularly significant or auspicious building, but it's great memories for us all from 1979 and the early 80s until Caxton Hall shut. We stopped using it. So it's a shame. That's we won't be able to get in there. But the lights are on upstairs.
Right, we have to find somewhere else. Look what they've done the spaghetti
The lights
house.
are on upstairs. No.
Yeah, but that's it. That was upstairs where we went with Mother because we'd fill the whole of the upstairs.
Oh yes, spaghetti house.
Yeah,
Spaghetti house.
that's it.
There it is gone. Sadly.
There it is gone. Yes. Oh well.
Yeah.
We've done the
Move
walk.
on, I suppose.
Yes.
It's gone to a better place.
Yes.
Well,
Should we go get in a car
Gonna
and
be
drive somewhere? Or,
redeveloped.
North Calvert Street, do you think there'll be better places, or is it close
That's-
by, or
or
is
it
it
might be
like-
better to eat here actually.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
North Gower
okay.
Street's just the top of
Fine,
on the
fine.
Euston Road. There's
I have
nothing
absolutely
there.
no idea.
Right
I'm
there on the
just
corner it
fine.
says brunch, and there's people.
Oh, there's
sitting
all sorts of
there.
places
There
in.
is
Because if they zoom in, they can see the word spaghetti.
Buckingham Palace. Through there.
Smiling.
That's the wall at the Buckingham Palace. That's the wall where all the German students climb and trying to camp in the Queen's Garden.
Yeah, I'd say something. Yeah, it's quite incredible, isn't
Should
it?
we all be talking about deep, profound memory?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's all relevant.
Just shooting a bit of the flavour of London anyway, so.
This is where I came with Shri Mataji in the taxi somewhere around here, where we got behind the Grenadier Guards. It
Okay.
was a whole, all in full, regimental, all marching down the middle of the road, and the taxi just behind them, walking pace. I
Wow.
was in a taxi with Shri Mataji. It was hilarious.
Did she comment on this?
Yeah, we laughed because it was like they were escorting her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
and then
you,
then she started working on the soldiers.
Really?
Said right side's very bad.
Yeah, it's exhausted, yeah. Amazing.
Put that in the book as well.
Read all about it in my copy.
Okay, it's ready.
No, well, didn't you get it?
I do know.
Huh?
Someone prompted in the Garden of Eden.
Well, it was somewhere up here, and for some reason there were some yogis who had this idea that Marble Arch used to be the Garden of Eden. Don't ask me why. And I mentioned it to Shri Mataji as we drove round it, and she said, "Really?"
You can imagine it.
Oh, there were a lot of strange ideas about it. Actually, I think they used to hang people there, didn't they?
Yeah. They hung
Highwaymen.
Cromwell.
Tyburn.
Cromwell.
Anyway,
they
we don't want
hung,
to go on
didn't
about it.
Tyburn.
they? Tyburn Brook, yeah. It's in Blake's work as well, isn't it?
But we had Selfridges. I mean, Mother went to Selfridges quite a lot. In fact, at one stage, she had loads of SYogis working in there.
Yes, I did.
We had a meeting there as well.
John Watkinson worked in there. Dawn worked in there.
Yeah, there was a whole gang of them all
Loads
together.
of them. Yeah.
And then at an earlier stage, she had a whole load of us working in Harrods.
Why was that?
I don't know, it was when Mother had Ashley Gardens. She said to Pat, you must get a job there. And Pat looked all sort of, what?
No, I just got this amazing job as a props man in the BBC on TV for setting up sets and everything, and I was really chuffed. And Mataji said, "No, that's not a suitable job for you. You know, it's like being a porter."
So I said to Pat, yes, you must get a job in Harrods, being a fish's sister.
sorry.
And Mother turned to me and said, yes, you should do as well. And my face dropped.
We both
'cause I got a
ended-
good job.
We both ended up in there. I was working in the bakery department. She was in
the flower
flowers.
shop. Pat used to pass me because we were learning the Arti at the time. We were going
And we ended up with other people, didn't we? Who else? Christine was there
Christine
in
was
Christmas
there.
cards.
Yeah.
And
Lindsay, no, it's the other man.
and that Tony guy, I think his name was Tony. That we met at the what's the name meeting the other weekend, Flood Street. Remember him? He was working in there.
No, it's not.
By the
Tony,
way,
it's
I can't remember his name.
Anthony.
if
Well,
you go,
that's nearly Tony. That's
if you
Anthony.
go down Oxford Street,
If we can, yeah.
I'm not sure you can. It's buses and taxis only, I think.
Look at that horse's head. Amazing, isn't it?
I think you can go down Oxford Street.
I think you
Well, I
can.
think you can
You
go
can.
down a bit of it.
Yeah,
Well, that's it, you turn-
and then you turn left, and that'll take you down to the
Baker Street-ish.
Up to the Mullen
that
Road.
sort of way. Yeah.
Yeah.
By road, yeah.
It's not actually Baker Street, but it's in that direction. But it's in the direction we want to go, and it crosses the road that we want to go down.
So where exactly are we at?
Tell us a bit more
Headed now.
about Selfridges.
I wasn't there.
Yes, my
so I
mum
can't-
worked in
Oh,
Selfridges.
oh, by the way, as a matter of interest, I used to work at that hotel there.
John,
Wow.
Yeah,
did they work?
and whilst I was working there was an explosion there.
Really?
The IRA guy, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Really?
Well, they could well have been
Blew
there
his room up by
are
mistake.
you-
when Tranker's mum was
Yeah.
there.
Anyway,
Yes, there was a
Well,
spate of bombing with the
yeah.
IRA in
Now,
Oxford Street.
no, it
I know,
wasn't
it was
IRA.
that-
It was the Libyan people.
Oh,
now,
was
what
it?
happened? You see this here, that place is the Mount Royal. I worked there. One of the first jobs I got after getting self-realisation was that I worked there.
Right.
Now, anyway, one morning I came in and there was a problem getting in because this is the Mount Royal Hotel, this one here. And what happened is there's this guy had come in the previous night, and what he'd done, he said he wanted an inside room, and at the time
Wow, you mean no windows?
he wanted an inside room, because the place is built like a figure of 8, right?
Okay.
With
Yeah.
corridors going through, so you've got inside, outside rooms.
Yeah.
You see, you want an inside room, and because of the way the place was filling up, he could only get one on the next floor, and he was the only one there.
Right.
Right, and except later on in the night, there was a couple of more people came to near where he was. So, what happened was he was building. He's starting to fuse these bombs to take them out. And what happened was one of them blew up. It killed him, and made a mess and sort of blew out the room, and most of the windows on the inside. But as luck would have it, he was the only one on that floor, and he was the only one that was killed. There was another person in a room nearby, but all he got was a slight concussion. So, you know, it was quite amazing. I'd like to think it was because of Mother sort of looking after me.
Yeah, it could be.
Because, as I say, there was this. I mean, it could, if it had been on an outside room, it could have been quite devastating, because there could have been a lot of other people involved. Now this will take us straight away down to the
Parliament Road. Quite a few of them little
I wasn't
parks,
actually there.
Okay.
little squares in the middle of all this.
It went up about
All
7
this
meters.
concrete jungle.
All this,
It
yeah.
must have been. I think as you get towards the end, you need to get over the left, because I think there's a left
So we're not going to Bramham Gardens? No, I don't think so.
No.
Because they've got it. We're over. It's too far to the west.
Well, you could do Bramham Gardens with John and people like that, because
Yeah.
they were there too, and
Yeah.
and even Brompton Square.
Yes. Brompton Square. Yes.
I mean, these are the only places where, well, they would have been to Caxton Hall, of course.
John would have been.
What was the number of that?
It was,
The
Bramham
we
Gardens.
Drive past actually. But,
19.
Yeah,
It's
19 Bramham.
it was a hotel.
Yeah.
it was 100.
Oh, the one just off in Earls Court.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fine, there
more or
is-
less opposite Earls Court Station.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just on the corner.
Yes.
Yeah,
no.
Erstenex Hotel, yeah.
We went that part.
Mio is a guy to talk to about
Yeah,
Bramham
because
Gardens.
Robert
He-
knocked on the door, didn't he?
Because he
Robert
lived there for about
Rubin.
3 months.
Yeah, that's it.
We were all living in Warwick Road, which was in the next road,
Yeah.
just nearby. But Mother stayed in the.
I don't think Sir C.P. stayed there, did he?
I can't remember. He probably did, but he was probably out at
Really,
work
he
most
was-
of the time. He was all,
travelling a
often
lot.
off on trips and things. There's also that place out in Head and Ashram. Where was it? Somewhere out where James used to live. Where's,
Not Nightingale Lane.
no, well, there is Nightingale
Nightingale
Lane,
Lane as
but
well, yeah.
Mother didn't stay there.
No.
But she did stay at Douglas. You know, Dulwich or not? No, she stayed in
Dulwich
Dulwich
Hill.
too.
Yeah.
But that place, no, right out near Hounslowish way. Sutton,
Oh,
no, not
Oh
Sutton.
yeah, I know
What's
where you mean. Yeah,
Sutton?
yeah.
What's
The
Sutton?
two houses on the corner.
Anstead.
Sutton
No,
Court
no, it
Road
was-
or something. Sutton Court Road. What one?
That
Where they had
sounds-
the
Sutton
fire?
Court Road, yeah, it could be.
That sounds familiar. Yeah. Yes, they had two houses together, wasn't it?
Stretton.
No, that was Hounslow.
Hounslow, yeah.
No, but the place where she moved in there for a while.
Yeah. And we had a big garden out
It
the
was
back.
a big garden, yeah, where we did a couple of pujas and things. Remember, where was it?
Because there was a place near Hounslow Heath.
It was yet another one of our housing co-op places. Empty place.
Yeah.
It was a place where everyone got food poisoning.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
What's that story then?
Whereabouts do you say it was?
I can't remember where it was. All I know is it was somewhere near where James used to live.
Surbiton.
James.
Surbiton.
Surbiton.
Surbiton, yes.
Oh,
Yes, there was a
Surbiton. Oh, yeah.
Surbiton place.
This was where our van ran out of petrol.
Oh, down there.
On the night of my marriage.
Your wedding.
Yeah.
You were going to my place, were you, or something?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we had our first argument because I refused to get out of the car wearing my turban.
Oh, no, this is where we caught the bus when we first went to.
This is where we caught the bus to go to Judd Street.
Yes, outside that.
Judd Street. I kept driving past Judd Street. It's just off here, isn't it?
No, it's down near King's Cross.
Yeah.
Well, we were all living round here when we met Mother.
Are you going to go to Judd Street, by the way?
I don't know, maybe.
It's on the kind of on your way out, isn't it?
It's near to North Gower Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were living here when we met Mother. I was living behind Madame Tussauds.
Yeah.
83.
Did you?
Yeah.
Cornwall Terrace. That's where we were.
This is Cornwall Terrace.
Yeah. It was a big. It's behind there. We passed it there.
Sterling Watts.
It overlooks the park.
It's amazing. So I was actually working here when you guys were sinking.
No, well, not in. It's not early in '83 when we were living. Yeah, Ice House Wood. It's also Ice House Wood.
It's the estate sort of thing.
Tim was living a few hundred yards away and
Tim
growing up
Bruce.
as a young boy. Yeah.
Tim Bruce.
Yeah, he was a few hundred yards away in another house, not far away. If you look at it on Google Earth, quite close. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Quite funny.
Can you drive down to that Caxton House or?
Yeah.
You can.
You don't want to spend too much time outside it.
Well, it's not far now, is it?
What? Oh, this place?
North
No.
Gower Street.
No.
No, what I
Euston.
suggest you do
Just before Euston.
is
Just after
go-
Euston, isn't it?
when you get to the flyover, you go to the side of the flyover.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the junction, you go straight across. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
understand what I mean?
You don't go down the underpass.
You don't go down the
yeah.
And Lambeth Vale was
got a way to go,
spoken.
yeah.
left.
If you can go left, go left
Yeah,
anytime.
where the
you
little
better go
bollard
left
is.
here.
Yeah, okay. Because this is North Gower Street,
Yes,
isn't
this
it?
is it.
Yeah, I do know where we are.
Oh,
Here we are, this is North Gower Street.
right.
Where
Now then.
was it? It was a bit further down, wasn't it?
On
On the right.
this one here. Yeah, that's Tolbert Square.
162.
It wasn't 160,
It's at the back.
was it? They must have changed it.
That's where that entrance to Tolbert Square is. It's more or less opposite there.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, where can we park? I know where it is. It's the other side of the square.
But does it still exist?
I don't think
It
so.
was some sort of a
It was an
hall.
old bank.
old something.
It was a bank.
Oh, it's that bank on the corner that was closed. Yeah, I know where it was. I
not
didn't
sure.
go there, but I remember being told.
What was his name, that guy?
Muckenshaw.
Muckenshaw, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. The playboy of the yoga world.
Yoga playboy. Yeah.
Careful.
I like that name. I think it was rather good, that name, because it described him to a T.
Well, he was the one who told us about Shri Mataji.
Yeah. And do you know who told him to come to England?
Who?
Satwa Sai Baba.
Oh no, not the
Yes.
silly one.
Yeah.
Oh well. God works in mysterious ways.
It certainly does.
We all lived around here before
Yeah.
we met Shri Mataji. There was
Yeah.
all these streets where we hung out a lot.
Yeah.
Umbrellas.
And Bala. Yeah. Ambala sweet shop, lovely. Somebody walking inside.
Yeah. Shall we buy it afterwards or?
Whatever. We
No,
can
we'll
come
buy
back.
it. Well, you say it was burfi. Burfi. The squares that almost like
B-A-R-F-I.
fudge sort of thing. Yeah.
That's it.
And the Sri Ganesha sweets. The
Laddu.
Laddu, yeah.
Laddu. So it's burfi, laddu, and there'd just be a sort of range of it and be cut into pieces.
Say that again, yeah?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
just ask for maybe a...
Take home for
for
Debbie
Arti, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what I'll do is I'll buy a couple anyway.
Okay, so when we had puja with Mother, we would come to Ambala and buy one box of Indian sweets, and we now know they were called burfi and laddu, and there'd be a variety, some pistachios, some, we didn't know, it was like food of the gods. Have a little piece of this vibrated Indian sweets, never tasted anything like it in our lives. It's beautiful, so we're going to buy some now.
Are they fresh?
Yes.
When were they made? I'm not today. Yesterday they made some sweets.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, it was in this, well, we all lived in this area before I met Shri Mataji. It's a large squatting community. And I remember one of the second or the third time I met Shri Mataji, which was just around the corner in North Gower Street. She was on her own. There was Gregoire with her, and that was about all. With a whole room full of hippies all arguing about drugs. And she just, at one point, she just sort of hugged herself. Sort of went, what can I do? And I just thought she's just like a mother with all these naughty children, And so I just said, okay, I'll stop, see what happens, taking drugs, and got a lot of dirty looks from all the others. But it was amazing how courageous she was, coming from her background, the level of society she's lived on, into a room. They were a very wild bunch around here, they really were, and she just took on the whole room of them. It was quite amazing.
You see, this is a point I was making when I said earlier that it started, it sort of like germinated in Bharat Vidyabavan, and then when it went to Judge Street, it sort of like started to sort of take root, and then when it got to here, North Gower Street, it had like a permanent place, and then it started to grow, and then when it got to Caxton Hall, it started to spread. So it was
flower,
the flower, yeah. You see.
We had a fair few weeds around here, didn't we? As well?
Mother said in one of her talks that all the rubbish went into the foundations, but what you've got to remember is even if the rubbish goes into the foundations, it makes the foundation stronger, so it can support the whole of the building. So even those that sort of got cast aside sort of would have done their bit in a way. So everything, as I say, every little helps.
And so why do you think people in those early days, some of them just didn't stick on, the penny didn't drop as to who Shri Mataji was?
As you said, the penny didn't. Well, they might have known, but they weren't prepared to believe, or they were so into other things.
Well,
that to them, Just it
But
seemed
there was
like,
peer
well,
pressure
just
as
another,
well.
just another experience.
You know, the other, you know, I
Yeah.
got quite a lot of stick about, you know, stopping taking drugs and one thing and another. People were very cynical about gurus by then, you know. So the whole thing, and you go out, you go to a couple of parties, get a bit wasted, and you know, you lose all the vibrations, and you'd see it all differently. You know, so you know, it happened to me. You know, I came back after the first. I didn't make it the second week. I meant to, but I didn't. And then Shri Mataji asked after me because Maureen went. And she came back and said, "Oh, Shri Mataji asked where you were," and I was quite touched. You know, I thought, it's sweet of her to remember.
So there was this battle between sort of good and evil. There were false gurus out there that had already on the scene.
Everywhere.
And people getting sceptical, the young people
Totally
weren't
sceptical,
trusting
yeah, they
these
were
people.
by then, yeah. No, that's why, that was the whole beginning of this whole Aquarian thing, you know, that the Seekers tried to go it alone after that, after they started to get disillusioned with the big heavyweight gurus.
Yeah.
But they were rough. I remember that guy, that speed freak who threw the brick through the window.
Yeah,
You remember?
Yeah.
He was on the third floor, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
The brick came right through the window. We were all sitting there with Shri Mataji, and this brick came flying through the window. And Shri Mataji said, "Look, did you see the way it moved so it didn't hurt?
It did
didn't hit anyone."
It actually comes straight through the window and then went like that.
Yeah.
Changed its flight
So-
direction.
Well, that's what she said. Anyway, I knew who it was because he was shouting outside, so I leapt up in a fury and went pounding down the stairs to catch him and wring his neck. And afterwards they told me Shri Mataji was putting bandages on me that I wouldn't find him, so he wouldn't get hurt. Yeah, they were a pretty wild bunch.
I think is it at but I vaguely remember at that time Mother Shri Mataji saying something like, "Don't worry, when I go I shall pull in my net."
Oh, to pull, yeah.
Pull in her net.
It couldn't work
Well,
out. I mean, a lot of them were good people. Some of them were nice. Yeah, you know, they got lost again, but you know, who knows? There was a lot of them around here. That was for sure.
And who were these were sort of middle upper class educated people?
Well,
Yeah, quite a lot of them were. Christine, you know, came from a good background.
family,
and,
yeah.
They were secrets.
yeah, very much so. Yeah,
Secrets of truth.
very much so. Yeah.
but they just unfortunately got lost again. It's sad, but
Also, you know, you gave up. You know, you're going to give up a lot of fun. You know, it's like one big permanent party down here. You know, it was just never stopped.
And did Shri Mataji say anything about really comment on this decadence of this Western 70s, 60s, 70s
Oh, yeah.
lifestyle?
Every time she met someone.
Can you remember any instances?
No, but I mean, she'd talk to each one and find out what they've been doing and what their background was and and be probing them, trying to find out what condition they were in. And she'd always be horrified. You know, she'd just say she couldn't believe so many people had become so damaged so young, you know, and or had been through so much suffering so young. But she meant suffering in a spiritual sense, you know, just lost and frustrated and that kind of thing. Yeah, they were all a heavy bunch. Remember that guy we used to call the Incredible Hulk? He used to sit in the back of the room going, "What universe are we in today?"